Great morning, everyone. This is Dr. J.C. Dornick, and welcome to another amazing opportunity full of potential in the Dreamcatchers Rise Up group. Today's kind of the second day that we open this up, so I want to welcome everybody. We've got a lot of new people coming in, and some of the people that are in my group on the Zoom think that I'm talking to them, but I'm actually live on my Facebook page right now. That's why you can't hear me. So in any case, what's going on right now is we're in day two and we're kind of still settling in, and I just want to welcome everybody to this group and redefine it. You know, the concept of the Dreamcatchers Rise Up group is just this kind of safe environment where people can come in and dream and catch them, you know, and it's this idea of the dream catcher is that dreams can get caught up in it. So I wanted to create this environment long time ago where people could come in and be in a judgment-free zone, be in an inspiring zone, supportive zone, where people are all solution-focused. So there's gonna be a lot of fun things happening in this group, and also a lot of really cool people. I've asked people to come in and speak on relationships. I've got some people coming in that have clinical backgrounds that are gonna talk about things like that. Also inspirational people, stay-at-home moms, the people that are in the process of transforming, they're all gonna be in here. I'm also toying with the idea of just opening up the group and allowing maybe a couple days a week, as long as everybody plays by the rules, some solution-focused interaction, meaning allow everybody to post things, but we'll have to police that, right? As long as we can make sure that this is a complaint-free zone. But in any case, there's this whole concept of the Rise Up, and you know, it's called the Dreamcatchers Rise Up group. And I want to speak a little bit about the evolution of it and the value of it. I would say it's been about 5 years, 5 solid years, consistent years full of the discipline of practicing this concept of winning the morning, thus winning the day. And it started a long time ago. For me, it started back at this time where I started to notice that my day, you know, the way I judged my day, good day or a bad day, was directly correlated to this very delicate moment when I would wake up. I don't know about you, but I traditionally, even today, I traditionally wake up with some feelings of concern sometimes. I don't know if you've ever experienced things like anxiety or even maybe a little bit of depressive thoughts or feelings of concern that we know on paper, we know are kind of attached to the program that we've stored in our brain, which is the past, right? Because anything that's stored in your brain, by the way, is something that's already happened. So we have this tendency of going from that unconscious moment where our eyes are closed, right? We're in the dream state, and who really knows what's going on in there? To that moment, that delicate moment. It happens in an instance where we open our eyes. So I read every book out there, I listened to all the audio tapes, and it was very clear that if we can do something in the morning and win the morning, we could actually shift and change the focus of our days. So I began this process a long time ago that I've shared with so many people, and people have kind of made it their own and done all these different things. And I want to share that process with you today, because in this group, a lot of people will come in and take the position of the observer, and you'll learn a lot as an observer, but you don't want to just walk around life knowing things. You actually want to be practicing them so you can benefit from them. Very big difference. So the whole concept of this idea of rising up is just what can we do in that delicate position where we move from mind to body, right? Because you have to ask yourself, and this is kind of the thought that I have for the day, who works for who? You know, does your body work for your mind? Meaning, do you wake up and do you have thoughts and feelings and then your body reacts to them? Or is your mind working for your body? Meaning, are you taking action in support of what it is that you want? Day in and day out, the way you eat, the way you move, the way you get up and defy some of those thoughts. Are you doing that with such consistency that your mind is starting to say, okay, this is the way it is, the quote unquote new normal? So that's the whole concept of the Rise Up. It starts with this intention of wanting to have a good day, right? You first have to want to have a good day. You have to, first of all, want things to move in the right direction. And maybe that's the first step, is just being conscious how your day has a tendency of taking control of you, and you kind of become a victim to it. So, you know, that was the whole premise of all of this time that I spent. And here's the simple flow that I use, and you can kind of use it yourself. So the first thing that I always do when I wake up in the morning, and I'm gonna encourage everybody to do some version of this, but remember, this is not a 1 day or a 1 week thing. I've been doing this for about 5 years now, and that's when it really, really starts to change your life. So you have to want to change your life. So the first thing I do is when I open my eyes, I take advantage of that first thing and I just say thank you. I say thank you for the simple things that, like having a breath and having a heartbeat, because that means that I have potential. I then will move on to saying thank you for my children, my family. I'll give my chicken a kiss, and we'll start off the day in those first like little 5 seconds with some gratitude, right? So right after my gratitude moment, I'm already in motion better than I would be if I didn't do those things. Now, sometimes I don't believe those things, but I do them anyway, because what I've learned is that if you do them long enough, if your body practices things long enough, your mind starts to actually work for your body. That's called a habit, by the way. What did I write down? A habit is a feeling in action that your body knows how to do more than your brain. How about that? And your brain starts to believe it. So the second thing I do is I get the heck out of bed. I remove the covers. I don't want to stay in that reactionary phase too much. You know, that time where you start to say, maybe I should sleep a little more, maybe I should push the snooze button, I'm not excited about the day. Ignore that, right? Fight that. I like to look at that it was Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings when he says, "You shall not pass." So that's kind of the way I do that. And I get the heck out of bed. I rip the covers off and I put my feet on the ground and I create my first intention for the day. And I say, how can I help? I always want to put myself in a state of service, because what it is that I do for a living, and as a father, as a friend, as a partner, is I like to help people. That's what I do. So I always start off with the right intentions. And I find that if I don't do that, I will typically start playing the hero or the villain in the day. So once I do that, real simple, I'm in motion. Once I'm in that phase, I just refrain. My phone is not connected. I put the little moon on my iPhone, so I'm not looking at my news feed. I'm not receiving texts and all that stuff. And I move straight. Sometimes I do go to the bathroom, right? Little unplugged right there. But I move straight into this state where I start to fill my brain with positive thoughts. Now, this is a challenge because sometimes you don't want to, you don't think you have time. So I had to start getting up early enough that I could do this. So I would put on a YouTube video, and I'm going to share a YouTube video that I watched this morning that will blow your mind, and I will put it in the thread. And it's like an 18-minute video, and it's just will blow your mind, and it'll talk about some of these thoughts. Sometimes I'll read. I'm always reading about 2 or 3 books. I became a very, very big reader. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast. I do a podcast, Rise Up with Chicken and Dragon. But anyway, I fill for about 15 minutes, I fill my mind, and I have a piece of paper next to me, and I just start to write. And for those of you that are not writers, like I used to claim that I wasn't, just start writing. The first words could be like, "Hello, day, I am going to write something." And while you're listening to positive things and you're going through this motion, all of a sudden, like 5 lines down, you start to realize that you are not in reaction, and you've lost the ability to predict your day based on your feelings, and you've gained the ability to create your day based on your actions. Your brain is starting to follow suit in your action steps, and you're starting to get some really good stuff down. Now, guess what happens if you do, this is what we call a journal entry. So, just to show you what that looks like, this is today's journal entry. And I'm not reading it, but pretty much everything I'm talking to you about right here is on here. So I start to journal, and some really good stuff comes out. And for those of you that are not writers, if you were to do that for 90 days or 365 days, because it takes 15 minutes, guess what that's called? A book. Right? So you could actually write a book, and all of a sudden your mind is saying, oh, I guess that he's a book writer now. And today you might have woke up thinking that you can't do anything right. Okay, repetition. So that's the philosophy of the Rise Up. But then the other thing is I know for sure, whether I like it or not, whether I'm sick or not, whether I'm traveling or not, if I don't take that right there and put my butt in the gym and get some sort of exercise, so I'm just coming from there right now, and I apologize because sometimes I do these Rise Up a little grungy and sweaty, but That right there is the missing element. You know, you can know things. You can even get into the realm of practicing things with consistency, but your body needs to be fueled and you got to get that blood pumping. And it doesn't have to be intense. It could be just going for a walk. But I'm telling you right now, if your intention in this group is to not just dream, but to actually catch those dreams. And remember, if you don't give that away, if you don't give this group away and keep it for yourself, you will never own it. That's the first thing. So share this. Invite anyone you want into here, because as of next week, you're going to start seeing these other people coming in here, and it's going to be an amazing, safe place to grow. But if you start off and your intention is to actually have a good day today and be in control and be in flow and actually start moving towards your goals, change the direction of your life towards your goals, this right there is a formula. I call it a rise up. You can call it whatever you want. And just that process right there, you chop it up, figure out how you prefer to do it the same way, but practice it day in and day out, and you will start to create that new normal, and you'll start to become this person that is successful, and it'll all show up. And just the last warning before I sign off is you'll know that it's working, you'll know that you're moving towards things when adversity starts to show up in your life. Things will show up and really, really challenge you. And you'll know that they're the right kind of challenge that I'm talking about because they're so tough that you come up with this wonderful bullshit excuse that day you shouldn't do your rise up. When you come to that point, you are right close to a level up in life. So push through that. Do the structure and the transactional component of doing this rise up on those days. Push through that pile of poop that's been dropped in front of you and watch what happens. Put some comments in there as you go through this. Share this. If you push the share button, you can share it on your regular page. Invite people into Dream Catchers. It's agenda free. And it's a wonderful place to be. So have a wonderful day. Great morning to you. And I hope this was of value.